First Lady Michelle Obama and her relatives have long suspected that a white ancestor was hidden in their family tree. Today, with new research, the story of Mrs. Obama's lineage has become a little clearer. The 1850 will of a South Carolina slave owner is the first record of Mrs. Obama's maternal great-great-great-grandmother. She was a slave girl named Melvinia, just 6 years old when her master decreed that his descendants would inherit the use and service of the said Negro girl. On a new farm in Georgia, Melvinia met the white man who would father her first child. His identity remains a mystery. The census shows that by 1870, Melvinia had 3 children described as mulatto. The oldest, Dolphus Shields, would make his way to Birmingham, become a carpenter, and carry his family into the working class. By 1900, he owned his own house, and by 1911, he opened his own business. One of Dolphus's many children was a boy named Robert Lee Shields. According to a marriage license from 1906, Robert wed a seamstress named Annie. Not much more is known about Robert, but city records show that Annie and their son, Purnell, moved to Chicago in the early 1920s. Purnell Shields worked as a painter and lived on Chicago's South Side. He and his wife had several children, including a daughter named Marion. Marion, in turn, married a man named Fraser Robinson. Their second-born was a daughter. Her name was Michelle LaVaughn Robinson. Today, she is our First Lady. For more details on Mrs. Obama's ancestors, explore the family tree at Wright.
So as you can see, the person's hit one button. They've gotten what the story is, the narrative of the story. The video player then closed, and we even give them a verbal prompt at the end, explore the tree to the right. So here comes the opportunity that they couldn't quite do as well in the newspaper, I don't think, which is providing the context for the people to go ahead and explore this family tree. Like, go ahead and you want to know more depth about these people? Like, Elizabeth did this incredible job along with our reporters of finding further information about them, being able to go deeper into it. You can explore the family tree, you can explore the father's side, you can do it with rollovers if you want, but I mean, really, who wants to roll over 62 little things? So let's put some previous next buttons on there, right? Let's make it so that people can just click through it really easily, look at it really easily. And then, even on top of it all, something that I think is really cool that another team of ours does is you can go view these related documents. And this pops up what we call the document viewer at the New York Times. And you can go into these and see the actual primary documents that I showed you in the little video we made. But you can go in here and see, Dolphus Shields. This is the census that showed when they moved to, Alabama. I'm just talking right now about that. But you can go through and view all these documents and view the annotations that we've laid on these documents. Like, this one's incredibly interesting. This is the one where it lists Melvinia for $475 when he bequeathed to his progeny, I guess. I'm not exactly sure who he bequeathed them to. But anyways, it's just a really interesting piece that lets you go just further and further and expand the context of this story. So we deliver the narrative, we deliver why this is a story, but then we say, go ahead, check it out. And in fact, we want you to help us complete the genealogical picture. If you know anything more about the family, because we're missing a lot of, on a lot of the father's side, we don't know anything about them. So we're asking people around the internet. We went out to our regionals down in a lot of our regionals throughout the South and throughout the nation and said, can you put this on your website? Because we would love to help fill this tree out even more. So it's kind of a combination of these things that I'm talking to you about, but it's context. It's more context for the user. So context is, as you can see, I like it a lot. I think it's very interesting, and I think it's one of the best ways to leverage the internet. Transparency, on the other hand, I think is one of the most important things. I think that in the age that we're in, with the skepticism that most journalistic institutions are put under, when I first arrived at the Times, it was shortly after the Jason Blair scandal. It was shortly after a couple other scandals where people were really saying, like, why should I trust you? Why should I believe you? Why do you say that's true? Why, how do I know that you're not just drawing these strings yourself. Well, it's a great opportunity to say, look, I'm showing you exactly how I'm doing it, and I'm showing you exactly why. So one of the first things that we did was something called the debate analyzer. Now, the debate analyzer was kind of the brainchild of myself and Andrew and Tom Jackson and Sean Carter and a couple other people on graphics. But the idea was like, I don't know how many of you are willing to sit down and just watch a debate all the way through, but my guess is the number is pretty slim. And there's a lot of reasons for that. A, it could be on at an awkward time for you. B, you're not that interested in what everybody has to say. You're only interested in what your candidate has to say. You're only interested in a certain topic. You don't care what they all feel about healthcare, but I really want to know what they say about guns. There's a whole lot of things that go on during these debates that are really important and really shape like how people vote. But a debate is really hard to kind of get into. So we built something called a debate analyzer. And this is like kind of the second or third iteration of it. But let me start it playing for you. Hopefully maybe some of you have seen this, but I think you'll catch on to the idea pretty quickly.
Invasion in history, still to this day and forever. And he wrote out another letter. And that was a letter of resignation from the United States Army.
So what's going on here is we will replay the debate for you. You can come to this page at any time you want, middle of the night, yesterday, tomorrow, whenever, and watch the debate. And that's cool. If you just want to sit here and watch the debate, that's fine. The first thing we want to do is we're going to scroll the transcript along with the debate, because if you know politicians like I know politicians, sometimes they sound a lot sweeter than what they're actually saying. Right? If you read what a politician just said to you, a lot of the times you're like, wait, that sounded great, but now that I actually know what you're saying, like, that's total bogus. Like, you're saying it with a smile, but you're saying something that I totally disagree with. So the first part was like, let's put the transcript right next to them, let people read the transcript, let people be like, wait, did they just say what I think they said? I'm going to go back and look at that, right? We also had all kinds of different things. Up here in the navigation, we show you when McCain's talking, when Obama's talking. We did this for even larger groups. We did this on the full Democratic debate. So when 8 people were talking, the Republican debates, shows you all the different amounts, the durations of time they spend. You can go through and drag into like sections. Look, all I'm interested in is Iraq. I don't care what they have to say about Social Security. I don't care about this. Fine, good. We're gonna give this to you on your own terms. Like, go to the Iraq tab and just listen to what Barack Obama has or John McCain have to say about Iraq. Like, that's the kind of transparency I'm talking about. We're not editorializing this news. We're not telling you who won the debate. We're not saying that this is what this guy said. We're just showing you the video, we're giving you the transcript, and we're giving you the topics. Now, there is a little bit of editorializing that got built in towards the end, which is this checkpoint part. But we're not really trying to like editorialize in this sense. We're just trying to play the fact-checking role. So just like I said, when politicians, they're very well known for saying like, gosh, I can't even count how many times it happened in the campaign that somebody would give a stat, and there's wonderful sites like PolitiFact and other things where it's like, that stat, while technically true, is only technically true in the narrowest sense of that statistic. When you look at the statistics as a whole, you can see like in this checkpoint, we will explain, well, that only occurs to this one very specific instance that Barack Obama was talking about. That only that only applies to this very specific instance that John McCain's talking about. So it's transparency, and it's usability, and it's helping the readers engage the content on whatever terms they want. If you just want to watch it, if you just want to read it, if you just want to see the parts where John McCain spoke. Hey, look, I only want to hear when they talk about energy. Well, there you go. You type in energy, here come up the little tick parts. Looks like Barack Obama talked about it in the bailout plan. John McCain talked about it a couple times in the financial crisis, 4 times for Barack Obama in the agenda. So you can see that, like, oh, I'm only interested in seeing what this person talks about at this point in time. I'm only interested in this subject, those kinds of things. That's what this thing's really built around, transparency and trying to help you, our user, our reader, whoever, become better engaged in the subject and more familiar with what's going on, because they're confusing things. They're hard to understand.